press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, we have been discussing about the chapter electric current and its effects, and so far we have learned what is this electric current, its applications, the circuit diagrams, right? So this electric current is nothing but the flow of charge, right? Flow of charge, and this charge is nothing but the electrons. Okay, and we have learnt about this whole story of electrons, right? These are present in atom, they will be moving outside the nucleus, right? So that movement, okay, that flow of electrons constitutes the electric current, okay? And we have learnt that this electric current is, allowed by a circuit diagrams, right? So electric circuit is the one which allows this electric current to pass, and this electric circuit is represented by circuit diagrams. Okay, so these circuit diagrams are nothing but the pictorial representation of flow of electric current. Okay, and the SI unit of this electric current is ampere. Okay, yes, and we have also learned that the flow of electric current, okay, whatever the current is passing, the flow of that electric current is from positive terminal to negative terminal. Okay, so this is about the current, and this is represented by the simple circuit diagrams. Okay, and we have various symbols used, right? We cannot just draw a full bulb with the full switches, batteries, cells and everything, right? To make it a simpler way, we use a circuit diagram, we use a simple symbols, okay? And we have seen what all the symbols we use for cell, for battery and for wires, right? So we make use of these symbols and we connect a circuit, okay? Because the switching on bulb is a very simple circuit diagram, but every time it's not the case, okay? We'll be having more complex ones, okay? So we use these symbols for a convenient way. Okay, so that's all we have learned. And yes, so let us continue about this chapter. So what is this electric cell exactly? This electric cell is the one which generates electricity. It is because of this cell, okay, we can make use of the current. Okay, this is what generates electricity. This cell is nothing but, like, we have commonly used this cell, right? This is what something it looks like, right? One end will be positive and the other one will be negative, right? So this is a simple diagram of electric cell. Okay, what does this do is, this is the one which generate electricity. Okay, so this is what generate electricity, and the symbol for the cell we use is one long terminal, and the long line, and the other one will be shorter one. So this is the longer line, we mentioned it as positive, and the shorter line as negative. Okay, so joining these cells, okay, we make a device called battery. Okay, so joining these cells we use battery. Okay, the cell is by which we generate electricity. Okay, and this is as I am saying that it is the one which generate electricity. If there is no cell, there is no electricity, there is no current, there is no light. Okay, so basically this cell is the one which generates electricity. Okay, so and by using of this cell we make use of these batteries. Okay, so cell are the basic unit that generate electricity. Okay, there is this flow of electrons from these positive and negative terminals, and that's how electricity gets generated. Okay, if the small amount of current, if we need a small amount of current, then this cell would be enough. But most of the time we need a huge amount. Okay, we need a more amount of current, or we may need more amount of energy or electricity, right? So this single cell won't be enough. So what we do is we combine, we join these cells together to form a battery. Okay, so this structure, okay, these cells we join, right? Okay, we just had to join these cells. Okay, and in circuit diagrams we cannot draw number of cells, right? So we make use of the symbols. Okay, this we can write it as, this is how cell is written, right? See, this is how we connect, we show a battery, and you can see here that this is the positive end and this is the negative terminal, right? Again this negative is connected to positive, and again this negative positive. Okay, so we know that current flows from positive to negative. Okay, again this current flows from positive to negative, so this goes on. Okay, so basically current flows from positive terminal to negative terminal, and cell is the one which generates electricity. And for more, okay, if we need more of energy, if we need more of electricity, a single cell won't be enough. That's why we make use of these batteries by joining these cells, and the symbols used for cell is like this, and for battery we just need to join these symbols. Okay, and these batteries are used everywhere, like even in simple torches. Okay, if you can open the torch, if you are having in your home, you can just see there is a battery present in that, and even in remotes, TV remotes, right, refrigerators, everywhere. Okay, we make use of these inverters, batteries in cars. Okay, most of the places, almost every place we use this battery, because of which this generate electricity and we get current, we get light and further. Okay, so this is the use of this cells and batteries. Yes. Okay, so now tell me, how does the bulb glow? Okay. Okay, so how does the bulb glow? Yes, of course, we switch on the light, there is flow of electrons, and because of that passing current, the bulb glows, right? But what exactly makes the bulb glow? What is the material present in it? Okay, if this is the bulb, okay, and inside this bulb, you might have observed there is this structure, right? Right? If this is the bulb, and when it's glowing, yes, you can see there is this structure inside, right, a wire like thing. Okay, so this is the one which makes the bulb glow. Okay, so this is called, this structure inside the bulb, okay, which is clearly visible. You can see, you can hold a bulb and you can see this structure clearly. It is a thin wire like thing present in the inside the bulb. So this structure is what we called filament. Okay, so this structure, this wire like thing present inside the bulb is what we call a filament. Okay, so filament. So what is this filament made up of? Okay, so this filament is made up of a metal which should have high melting point. Okay, it should have very high melting point, because when we provide electricity, if most of the metals they melt. Okay, these metals melt at a high melting point. Okay, at a high temperature they start to melt. Okay, so we need we need a metal, we need a material which has high melting point. Okay, no, normally it should not melt, of course, because of which we need a light, right? So it should have a high melting point, and this metal, okay, the metal used for this making of filament, it reacts. Okay, it reacts with at high temperatures, it reacts with the oxygen and the bulb burns. Okay, it just bursts out due to the reaction with the oxygen along the atmosphere. Okay, so that is why this filament, okay, it has a chamber, okay, a glass chamber, okay, which is devoid of this oxygen. Okay. Okay, so this filament is the one which provides the light, and this at this high temperature, if it reacts with oxygen, it just bursts out, it burns. Okay, so that is the reason it is enclosed by this glass chamber which is devoid of oxygen. Okay, it does not have oxygen and it does not make this filament react with the atmospheric oxygen. Okay, so at high melting point, this metal burns, and the metal used for this making of filament is tungsten. Okay, so remember, the metal used for making of this filament is tungsten, and this tungsten has the qualities. Okay, we needed a material which has high melting point. Okay, so that is what the tungsten do. It has really very high melting point. Okay, normally when the current is provided to this filament, okay, when due to this switching on light, when the electrons flow and the current is produced, okay, at that temperature most of the metals melt. Okay, but this tungsten, it has high melting point. Okay, and at that temperature it do not melt. Okay, so that is the reason this tungsten is used. Okay, and it does not oxidize easily, it does not react with oxygen that easily. Okay, so these are the reasons we use this tungsten inside this bulb. Okay, now what is this fused bulb? Okay, what do you mean by fused bulb? Okay, fused bulb is nothing but okay, here you can see a broken filament, right? The filament inside this bulb is broken. Okay, so this type of bulb, okay, in which the filament is broken, is what we call a fused bulb. Fused bulb means it has a broken filament. Okay, so filament is the one which is giving us the light, right? So if this filament breaks, there is no current, there is no light produced. Okay, so sometimes you might have observed in your homes, all of a sudden this bulb gets off, and you just call electrician, you just change the bulb. Okay, you just need to observe. Okay, sometimes this filament is broken, that's why the current won't pass, the light you won't get. Okay, it is because of this fused bulb. Okay, so fused bulb is nothing but a broken filament. Okay, and filament is the one which provides us the light, and it is made up of a material which should have a high melting point, and it should not get oxidized easily. That means it should not react with oxygen easily, and that metal we use for making a filament is nothing but this tungsten. Okay. Now let us see what is this heating effect. Okay, do you think the current produces heat? Yes, here's an activity or experiment, you can say, you can easily try it. Yes, if there is a bulb here, okay, the glowing bulb, and yes, we have this filament inside this, okay, and we have this glowing bulb here, and we have another bulb, okay, which is not glowing. Okay, it is off, okay, it is switched off, it is not glowing, and here we have a bulb which is glowing very brightly, okay. And what you have to do is just keep your hand below, or to this light, okay, don't touch it, okay, just don't touch it, and just keep your hand near this glowing bulb, and also keep your hand when the bulb is switched off, okay. Just for a while, just keep your hand, okay, just keep your hand to this bulb, near this bulb, and do not touch the bulb, okay. So what you feel is, when you keep your hand below, or near this glowing bulb, you start to feel hot, okay. You can try this thing, you start to feel hot, and here when the bulb is not glowing, and if it's a normal bulb at normal temperature, and when you just keep your hand, you won't feel any change, you neither feel hot, you don't feel cold, it's the normal feeling, it is a normal sense what you get. But here when the bulb is glowing, and when you keep your hand near this bulb, you start to feel hot, okay. And why is this? Because this bulb, okay, the electric current, okay, by this experiment we can clearly see, okay, here there is no electric current, okay, the bulb is switched off, there is no flow of electrons, there is no current passing, there is no light, okay, nothing is going on here, and if you keep your hand, that's why you're not feeling anything, okay. But here in this case, there is current flowing, right, there is electricity on, the current is on, the current is flowing, the bulb is on, we are getting the light, and when we hold our hand near the bulb, we feel hot. Okay, by this thing we can clearly we can clearly interpret that yes, this current produces heat, okay. There is this effect called heating effect of electric current, because of which we are feeling hot, okay. By this experiment we can clearly say that yes, of course, because of this passing current, the bulb is glowing, and because of the glowing bulb we are feeling hot, right. So we can clearly say that yes, current produces heat, okay, that is current undergoes some heating effect, because of which we feel hot, okay. Now where do we use this heating effect? In most of our electric appliances in our day-to-day life, we come across of this heating effect. For example, iron box, isn't it? So when you heat up this iron box, yes, of course it won't be hot normally, so when you switch it on, when you plug it in, when you switch on, after a while the iron box starts to get heat, okay. So yes, if this is the iron box, right, okay, if this is the plug, yes, it starts to get heaten up, okay, and that's how you use it, okay. That's what we want, we need a heated material, we can iron our clothes and everything, okay. So what is the reason that this iron box gets heated up, okay. So inside this iron box, okay, okay, so inside this iron box, okay, inside this structure, okay, inside this we have something like this, okay, inverted V-shaped thing, okay. So that is made up of a metal, okay, which gets heated up due to this electric current, okay. So that metal, what iron box is made up of, is nichrome, okay. So this nichrome is nothing but combination of nickel and chromium, okay. The combination of these two metals make another metal, that is nichrome, and nichrome is used in this iron plates, okay. Inside this iron plates, what we have, some element, okay, some metal which makes use of electric current and it gets heated up, okay. If we don't have this material, okay, the iron box, do you think the iron box gets heated up? Of course not, okay, because of this element present inside this iron box, when the current passes, this heats up, okay. And this type of elements, okay, this type of material, because of which it gets heated up due to the electricity, that is what we call heating element. Okay, so heating elements are the ones, that is materials present inside this appliances, and due to which they make use of electricity, okay. Due to this electric current, they gets heated up and we can make use of this heat, okay. So this in iron box, yes, the heating element is nothing but this inverted V-shaped structure that is made up of a metal called nichrome, which is a combination of nickel plus chromium, okay. And not only this iron box, most of the electric appliances what we use in our daily lives, they'll be having this what we call heating elements, okay. And because of this heating elements present inside them, we can make use of these materials, okay. Example, geyser. Okay, so geysers, we use it, to get a hot water bath, right? So again, inside these geysers, we have heating elements, okay, which when a current passes, we can, it makes use of this, the water gets heated up, right, because of the heating elements present inside. And also hair dryers. Okay, these hair dryers, what we use, even they are having a heating element inside them, okay. So most of these electric appliances, whichever gets heated up, they are having heating element inside them, so that we can make use of them, okay. With all these applications and with that activity, we can clearly say that yes, of course, current produces heat, okay. Current undergoes some heating effect, because of which we feel hot, okay. So this is about today's class. In the next class, we will discuss more on this topic. Thank you.